everyone, and thanks for joining on the program Property Doctor. Here we talk about the acquisition of properties, the maintenance and the management of properties. Generally, it is your right to be happy and to enjoy your buildings. It doesn't matter whether you're a property owner or just a property user. You can connect with us on our social media handles on Facebook, on Instagram and on YouTube, like you're doing right now at Property Doctor NG, and on Twitter at Property Doc NG. If you're not a member of the family and you just stumbled on this channel, please click on the subscribe button so that you can become a part of the member of the family, and also click on the alert button so that whenever a new episode comes up, you will be notified. I'm sure you will not regret it.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget, the money, and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. This episode is for those who appreciate safety. Staying safe and secured is an important thing to look into whenever we are talking about our buildings and our infrastructure, even the environment generally. In our previous episode, we talked about securing our buildings. We talked about the school and our homes. We talked about securing our buildings during construction, and after construction, that is when we are using the building. We have an expert with us who is going to guide us on some important aspects and how to interpret the actions and how to know the simple steps to take in securing our infrastructure, especially our public infrastructure. What are those infrastructure we are talking about? We're talking about roads, bridges, we're talking about the airports, the rail system. We have so many types of infrastructure. We have the drainages, we have the buildings, we have schools, we have markets, airports, offices, libraries, name them, so many more that we will not be able to talk about today. But today we just want to talk about the transmission system. That's the transport system that has been under attack for some time now. Our guest today is Prince Felix Yoba. He's a security expert, is well informed, and is the author of the book Security Awareness Handbook. The book was written in collaboration with the Alumni Association of the National Defense College here in Abuja. And another thing he told me just before we started this program is that he is a transportation economist. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, we've talked about the construction. We talked about securing our buildings. We talked about schools. I remember we talked about schools some time ago. But now let's look at the economical aspect of this attack we are facing on this system. That is the rail, the road, and the airport.
Thank you very much. The transportation system is a life wire of any economy. It's just like having a car and there's no fuel. That car is stationary, that's where it is. When any nation is not having an efficient transport system, it will definitely tell on the economy. The economy is definitely likely going to go down. So the state of an economy can be determined by the state of its transportation infrastructure.
Okay, now what are the attacks that we have been facing on these roads? Can you explain some of these problems that we have faced recently, especially in the northern states of Nigeria?
Definitely is no longer a hidden thing.
Yeah.
That we've been having a series of attacks on roads, kidnappers. They've been, stopping vehicles on the roads, kidnapping people, asking for ransom, robbers, shooting, killing people, raping, collecting their properties, and so on. But they've taken a step further now to make a statement by attacking our rail infrastructure and also the airport. That happened around the Kaduna axis.
Yeah.
And this is serious at this point in Iran. We need to really know that they are out to make a statement to the government. And the statement is, I want to bring down your economy. And if our economy is down, your guess is as well as mine.
Now, what security measures can we take to protect, number one, our rail system? Yeah,
our rail system needs to be protected because it's not like the regular road that passes through, the cities, then have volume of traffic where people are passing through regularly. So somewhere, somehow, because of the traffic, it can distort some of those. The rail tracks are in the bushes. Yeah. And so it's isolated. And so the first thing to be done is to ensure that the bushes around those tracks are cleared, so that both ways you have like 10 meters and so on. So the visibility of the entire environment very clear.
All right.
That's one. Then two, they can also do a track, for bikes. Those who be using
patrol
bikes for patrol bikes, and then also introducing sniffer dogs.
Oh, okay.
So from so meter to so meter is covered by some personnel, and from this meter to the other one is covered by those personnel. Patrolling all the time, make sure the sniffer dogs are doing their work to check out for, explosives and all of those things, bomb, and see if they have been put in, on the track. And then there are drones. We can employ drones who will be doing the monitoring and the checking, the snapping, the videoing, the everything, and communicating to the right authority, so that they will be able to, check what is going on,
communication is very important.
Communication, yes, on this. And then, of course, recently, two young men attended a craft program organized by the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, like a trade fair, and they came up with something they designed to be able to monitor our surveillance on the track that can check anybody, any explosive, any whatever at all. So why can't we look at that? And then call these young men and develop. There are so many young men, people who have solutions available here in the country. Yeah. We can call for that, have a discussion on them, and look at the appropriate ones. The Honorable Minister also said he had ordered for some tracks and some things that can check, on the tracks of the rail, so that it could take off some of these, criminal elements. And then we also need to educate the villages along those paths, so that they can also check. They will be able to know when there's infiltration of those people, visitor or non-visitor, you don't know their faces and what their missions are. Report them to the right authority, because when you do so, of course, all of this and many more, but want of time. Yeah.
Okay, now you just talked about the rail system. Let's talk about the road system. What measures can we take to protect our roads?
So the first thing we need to do to protect our road is to put proper road furniture, which we call road signages, to put the right sign of where to drive, how many kilometers per hour, all those things we used to see. They are very important, because those things cause, lack of those things in place and not obeying them by some drivers causes a lot of accidents and lives are being lost. I tell you, if you follow the the figures, there are stages on accidents in our country. Sometimes there are over 4,000 dead. That is the one that is on record. 28,000 incapacitation and so on and so forth. It's ridiculous.
It's sad.
So the next thing to do is to also ensure that the security personnel, especially the police, were trained to be able to track, monitor. Let's say is that Kaduna Road that we are talking about now. How many vehicles and motorbikes, power bikes, with well-trained people with security equipment patrolling, from Kaduna here, from Abuja there. So you see this one going, the other one going at all times, you are seeing movement, busy movement of security personnel flowing in and out. And then also drones can also be employed, and we're also talking about helicopter monitoring so that in case there's any attack, in no time they can be able to contact the right personnel to check them out. So for want of time, so there are still so many other, because we can also put cameras, surveillance cameras that can monitor 1 to 5 kilometers at a time, and anytime, anywhere there is this thing, you are being tracked. That's what happens in advanced country. You cannot commit a crime and you run away and nobody will be able to trace you in civilized world.
Okay. Now, we've talked about security measures for the road and for the rail system. What about the airport?
Yeah, the airport, of course, they have already, their own track is in the air, so we can't follow them to track, except you have those insurgents who have those long-ranger missiles who can bring down. I don't think there's this thing to do.
Yeah, but the airport, we are talking about the
yes, we're bringing out to the airport. So now the airport, right from the distance, honestly, we have really tried in recent times. Give it to the government, they spend a lot to put some security distance in place, but I think we need to do more. Why do I say so? Observe when you drive into any airport. I don't want to mention names, but if you're driving into the airport, the consign and people you see are just people who are collecting tickets and collecting their money most times. We need to do more than that. We should bring scanners that a car will enter inside from few minutes before it gets out. It has scanned the vehicle to be able to see those who are bringing the explosives and all of that. And then we also need to do solid perimeter, solid fence around the place. You heard sometimes in the news that one of the airports, a cow coming onto the runway. If cows can find their ways in, then human beings, so you can imagine what will happen.
So you can have a
fence, and also having security intrusion devices to check, so that we can completely barricade and stop intruders from coming in through the back. Bringing the right scanners to check baggages, bringing the right scanner to check, those who walkways and all of that. Some people, those who do drugs, they hide it in different forms and all of that. Thank God we have manpower to be able to check, all of that. So we need to do a lot more. Then finally, I feel that the car parks are too close to the main airport itself. Can they not create an avenue where the car parks is a little bit off the entire airport distance, so that, of course, if there's an attack and boom, if see the airport, see the the buildings of the airport, the trackway of the distance, see our cars are lined and this thing here. There are things information as security experts we should not bring to the distance of the public, so we need to check it. But then government needs to do a lot more on the airport, because if they succeed in making a statement on 1 or 2 airports and then the railway and all of that, our economy will go down. And where are we going to be?
So we've talked a lot about the airports, the rail system and the road system. We are concentrating on the transport system because movement is very important for money.
Yeah, movement of goods and services.
Yes, and
very, very critical.
It helps our economy. It helps people to connect and all that. But now a lot of people are so afraid to even travel, to move from one place to the other, and this is going to affect the farmers, it's going to affect the businessmen, it's going to affect students and all that. We need to do something to make our environment safe, our means of transportation safe. At the same time, we need to save money while we are having this infrastructure in place. Because when you have this infrastructure and somebody just comes and destroys them, it means a lot. That means the time, the money that was spent, everything will just waste like that, and you now have to look for another source of income or money to put this thing back into place. And you know that inflation is really affecting our economy. So we need to protect what we have. That's why we talked about protecting our critical infrastructure. He mentioned a lot of things on the protection of our infrastructure. We only mentioned 3. We have other infrastructure that we need to protect and make sure they are safe. And please, people, don't burn tires on the road. You are affecting the road, you are spoiling the road if you do that. Thank you very much, sir. One last word for our viewers today.
These people are really after our lives. They are also after destroying our economy. Please, let's come together, Nigerians. What I mean, those who are in authority, the security agents, and Nigerians, we are stakeholders.
Yes.
We are stakeholders. Yes, it's the responsibility of government, but we are stakeholders. You know, but we, the security agents, needs to do more in terms of educating Nigerians as stakeholders. How many Nigerians know about threats? How can you identify threats? Where do you report such threats? And so on and so forth. Something as simple as that. We need to really create security awareness so that people will know, when criminals are coming into their area and know who to report to and will not be afraid of reprisals. If we are able to do so, come together to work, we will be able to, if not stop, reduce most of the vulnerabilities to these criminal attacks.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, viewers, for being with us on the program, Property Doctor. We hope you learned something today. Is our responsibility to stay safe, responsibility of the government, of you and I, to remain safe in our country, Nigeria. And everywhere we have our children, our parents, and every one of us to keep safe. So we need to do something. Please sit down and watch this video all over again so that you can learn something. You can also get tips from this book. This book is the Security Awareness Handbook, written by Prince Felix Yoba. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from this book. You can get this book from him, or you can call us on 0903 123 9999 if you want to get this book. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from it. Thank you for being with us on the program, Property Doctor. We hope you learned something, and we hope to see you same time next week. Until then, remain safe and God bless you. Bye.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government to really compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs.